Hey guys, how's it going? So today we are kind of going back to our roots. We're going to go over some 2's games. And, recently I was doing helping a couple of friends gear some undergeared alts and stuff like that. So we tanked our rating down to like 1800 or something. So um, what I want to go through today is just to talk about sort of gameplay, go through what my strategies are on each team, and I think in this session we went like 12 and 1. So understanding, I think we went from 1800 to like 2.2 MMR. So we're going to have a look at, how different teams play, but also we're going to talk about what my general kind of approach is to each of these games and try and do them in a pretty unedited fashion, just going through each of them. Obviously, there's heaps of people I outgear, and I'm aware of that. But if you watch some of these games, they are pretty one-sided in a way. So, and the gear disadvantage at 1800 is about 2k HP, a fair bit. So against the warrior shaman, I always open on the shaman. The reason why is that look at like where the warrior is, he's hitting me, and when I'm playing with a druid, I'm able to get this massive cleave damage the whole time. Something I do in 2's a lot against other warriors or melee in general is I will run, what's it called? So there's actually a lot of things happening that I want to point out here, but I'll run unhinged because I really like this burst interaction. You can see what's happening here is I'm setting up, and what most warriors want to do is that they want to get the like disarm on the colossal smash, right? But if my druid's able to bash the warrior for those few seconds, I'm able to get this massive blade storm off on both of them. And even while the shaman's like healing himself and he has his Earth Ellie out with that obnoxious Earthquake legendary, he's actually not able to get too much out of this. Because the warrior next to him is at 52% sharpened because of Unhinged. And then what happens, right, is that we do this blade storm. The warrior reacts by using cooldowns, right? He pops Avatar and he colossal smashes me. And the first thing I do is I press disarm, right? I press disarm. He trinkets the disarm, so I commit the parry. Why do I commit the parry here? This is probably a question that people, might be a bit confused about. If you think about it like this, right? He just trinketed my disarm. My parry is on a 1.27 second cooldown, right? So realistically, I can disarm every single one of his colossal smashes, but if he trinkets one of my disarms, then there's going to be a colossal smash that slips through, which actually does hit me. So in a way, this is the most, efficient time to use parry, because I'm trading my parry for his trinket and avatar, and essentially, it makes his trinket that he just did so much worse, because now he can't even get any damage from it, and he can get CC'd by my druid, or I can stun him, or he can't trinket the next one, which might be some time where he's in more trouble. It's kind of optional here. I probably could have just gone D-stance, but I think I decided to play a bit more aggressive here. So I see this shaman just like spamming lava bursts, and what I do is I just really don't want to give this guy any opportunities. So I wait till the warrior kind of pushes ahead, and here's something to note. The second I get rooted, I'm holding my avatar literally for this root, because the kind of biggest way that shamans will peel you is they'll root you, they'll slow you, and then they'll walk around this pillar. So what I do is I avatar, and the second this root breaks, I throw my Stormbolt, because I don't want him to get into Ghost Wolf and around that pillar. So when he gets stunned here, I can condemn back onto him, and I get him to like 56% in this one sort of go, right? Just one stun. Sorry about the quality. When I pause it a lot, it kind of fucks up. So when the shaman uses his silence, I fear it, because there's not really going to be a better time to fear than when he's like, zero point 0.1 seconds off a cast that he really wants to get off. And I have a sharpen on the shaman now too. So that cast is like, if he actually does trinket this or anything, that sharpen was there. And it's sort of like I probably could have just feared later. But I'm able to kind of switch this pressure off because he didn't catch up on his healing, because he didn't get that big heal off he needed. So he really wanted to get that heal out, because if he got that heal out, this warrior is probably sitting more at like 70%. And then this heal that he's doing right now probably tops the warrior and then is able to top himself. But instead, what I do is I swap the warrior pretty hard, and then the second I'm feeling like the warrior is sort of reacting, my druid comes in and bashes him, and I swap to the shaman again. So when we're on the shaman, I stun it, and I get the sharpen ready, and then I sharpen him at sort of like 54%. So even his instant stuff isn't really going to do anything. Okay, the warrior's popping off on me, so we instantly throw the disarm out. He's not able to really do anything now, and my druid thorns me before, which got purged off. So now we're hitting the warrior, who's kind of stuck here. He doesn't really want to leave, and even though he's like not doing that much damage to me, I'm still sort of respecting it. I don't really want to overextend here until my druid pushes in and is ready to go. So now we're just hitting the warrior because it's easier to hit, and he's hitting me. And my druid's sort of pushing in that way. I get another stun here before this guy gets away. I throw everything down, and I blade storm out of that root. I think it got dispelled at the same time. And here, like, we're just smacking him, but I have a feeling that I'm probably not going to be able to stay on him after this charge is exhausted. We do get the kick there, and he gets his fleshcraft off, which is a really good way to like stay pretty topped, because it gives you the shield now. We use the reflect, and what I do is I swap to the warrior now because I have fear. That's a really big thing you should try and do, is essentially make these big swaps when you have fear, because now I put him in a fear, my druid stuns at the same time. We weren't really on comms, so he stuns at the same time, which is fine, but now we swap to the warrior, and the warrior is now in big trouble, because now I can stun him. He trinkets that stun, so now he can't stop the disarm, next Colossal Smash, and to be honest, there's really not much he can do to stay up right now. I get stunned again, and I swap back to the shaman. And it's like, because this warrior wants to stay on my druid. He doesn't want to hit me because I'm cleaving both. So now that I'm swapping back, the shaman has to spend all this mana doing this, right? You know, keeping himself alive, even though his warrior is still kind of low. The rally falls out here, and eventually the shaman just has fallen way too far behind to stay up. And we kind of close the game out there. We'll look at another one now. Let's talk about RMP a bit. So RMP with Druid's actually kind of hard. What I've found to be the best is to start the rogue, kind of force him to start kiting me, and then swap onto the mage when I am, a little bit closer to, if he's used a trinket or is kind of overextended to peel his rogue, I might hit the mage. But I genuinely think usually hitting the rogue works best. And here I get G-pied and blinded, and this is their go, because they'd normally sap me here. And I make this really fucking ballsy play where I hold my trinket the entire time until the end, which is really bad. I probably should have just trinketed straight away. I get the stun out, and the mage is still trying to get polys. I throw the banner down. I think I missed it. I'm not sure. And we are super, super low here. But they've got no blind now, and they've used all their CC. So what's happening here is I'm just kind of hitting the mage because the rogue got away, but the rogue's still kind of low, so he can't instantly come back out and help his mage. His mage kind of has to work solo, and he is able to get away because of the night thing, but here I throw the intervene down, more so because I just kind of thought it would be good, but it was actually kind of bad because I forgot that he didn't actually have blind. We get polyed here, and he uses evasion, so it's pretty good. And here we're just going to chase the rogue because he didn't actually get a re-stealth, and the mage is kind of hard to kill, especially when you are playing with a druid because they're able to klepto all those hots. They're able to get a lot more sustain, and your druid's more self-sufficient because he can like shift stuff. So here we disarm the rogue, and the reason why we disarm the rogue is more so he can't stun because he's so close to dying that he might get desperate and just try and stun me. Here, we're just kind of waiting. The rogue's still really low, and we just run after the pod, make sure we reflect this poly, and we're able to finish the pod off. So essentially here, biggest mistake we made was probably not responding fast enough to that first sort of go. But aside from that, it wasn't too bad of a game. We'll see what other games we have here. It's set some really long queues. Okay. This is kind of a boring game and it goes for a long time, so we'll probably just skip that. We won it, but it was just boring. Let's talk about Holy Priest Fire Mage, because I think this is one that a lot of people have trouble with too. Holy Priest Fire Mage is interesting, right? Because they're able to do pretty big goes on you, and like it's kind of hard to know what to do, and the best way to respond. But a lot of the times, what I'll do is I'll kind of just wait till this mage comes out, and then I'll just tunnel the mage down. The reason is that my druid can get cyclones on the priest, and also like the amount of pressure I can put on cloth is pretty insane. I kind of make a mistake here and intervene, kind of forgetting that you can't you can't reflect a ring. But what I do is I go D-stance and I respond by parrying, use my trinket. My druid didn't use anything big there, so we still have bark and stuff for the next go, trinket bark. But the big thing you want to be able to do is just rotate your trinkets. If we both trinketed there, we'd be in a lot of trouble, but because we didn't, we're kind of okay here. Here I go in, I connect finally. What I try and do is go through all his shields first, so he's got no shields now, and then I'll commit some damage, get DB'd. I'm sort of waiting until he has no DBs and stops, and then I do my Colossal Smash. We missed the kick there, but my druid gets a sort of short stun, which is just enough for me to get a couple ticks of damage off. I see this, like whenever you see the priest kind of running around towards your druid, you should try and just slow him with Piercing Howl. Really effective way that you can help your healer out a little bit and stop any really major goes here. He gets Alter Time again, and I make a stupid mistake because I stun into the Alter Time. But then I just swap, I hit something else. He's going to get altered in a sec. He doesn't. I think he did, sorry, and then got gripped. And we're just kind of shutting down this mage as much as we can. We get polyed again. And, they're essentially stalling the game out as long as they can. We finally get a kick on the poly, and we're able to get some really good pressure out. What I do is when he rings, I go through with Blade Storm, so then he can't, I can't get rung again. And eventually this guy gets procced just from raw damage because they're sort of falling behind. I get the fear onto the priest, and I throw Reflect up when he has Combust. He has to block here if he wants to live. He's super low. He gets to block off kind of last second, but still in the danger zone, and he falls over. So the big idea here is that essentially you just have to make sure you're committing cooldowns pretty early in that trade, and then you should be able to kind of win that by just hitting the mage down, rotating your cooldowns, and keeping the pressure up outside of his combust windows. When he doesn't have combust, you guys should be playing super, super aggressive because he'll be really, really hard. It's really hard for him to just kill you randomly, if that makes sense. So we're going to go through one more game, and then we'll do a part 2 of this, if this game ever shows up. I think this is kind of boring. We win this as well, but it's just a boring game. It's just, we do win that. Maybe we'll pick one from a bit later in the session. Okay, here's a good one, right? We'll do another mirror because, to be honest, I think the biggest thing to help you guys out is probably to go through mirrors. And from what I remember, these guys are pretty geared. So Resto Druid Warrior is very advantaged over Arms Warrior Disc, mainly because you will see why in a sec. And it's one of the reasons why I like playing with Druid so much right now. For some reason there, I didn't equip a Legendary. I have no idea why. I just realized that. I think I thought I clicked the other one, but I didn't click my actual Legendary on that one. Do I fix it? I reckon I don't fix it. No, I don't think I do. Anyway, well, that's our little disadvantage then. What I do here is I immediately go after the priest, and my druid gets the warrior in a root. And essentially now we're just chilling. He disarms me, and I just trinket it instantly because I've already used cooldowns. I'm going to go all in on this and try and create as much pressure as possible. The dome comes out, so I fear the priest, who's the only one in the dome, and I stun the warrior who's not in the dome. So essentially this dome has been completely useless because, it's the equivalent of putting it nowhere or missing it completely. We're essentially just hitting and swapping based on who we can hit easier and making sure that we have 100% uptime. What I want to ideally do is get the warrior or force the warrior to hit me. And you can see how I position here is I moved in between the warrior and the disc priest when I had the sweeping sharpen, so both targets are getting sharpened at the same time. We get the stun on the Shadow Mend, and he trinkets it pretty quickly. So now he has no trinket, but the disarm's thrown out, and it's an okay disarm. I don't think it's on the Colossal Smash, so it's the right time for sure. Warrior switches to me. At the start with the other condemned warriors, you always just don't want to overreact when you're getting condemned at the start, because it's not actually that scary. Once they get you to 75, like as another warrior, you should be fine. Like your healer can usually top you. So we kick the penance and then we stun shortly after, because I don't want him to get another Shadow Mend off. And I see that my druid's having a little bit of trouble, and we dispel the piercing howl using Avatar. The more and more you can get in the habit of trying to use Avatar to break a root or a considerably large slow like piercing howl, which is 70%, it just improves your uptime. It's like a really, really small thing that doesn't seem to like make a difference. But what you've seen there is that if I was piercing Howard, I'd probably still be walking to this guy, because I instantly dispelled it with Avatar. I'm on top of the priest now, and the warrior's on the other side, so we can't even get to his priest yet to help him. By the time he does, I'm blade storming. I see that the dome drops out, and I instantly swap. There's no reason for me to hit that dome, and I'm able to get the disarm out of the way, and we're looking pretty good right now. The stun comes out. It's just a normal stun, not really based on anything. I honestly think that might have been a bit of a bad play, because you really want to keep that stun for the druid when you're playing warrior priest. This is kind of where the druid's in a little bit of trouble, but I'm sort of committing to pushing pressure, because in my opinion, the druid's fine. He's got some stuff. He's still got trinket. He's got bark. There's a lot of ways he can get away from that. I tried to put the slow on the warrior before he got there, and they both dome in, so they're on top of each other now, which is perfect for us. And I'm able to get this nice cleave damage in. I'm spamming, if you see. If you sort of see what my keys are pressing there. As I'll show you again, like the second I'm in between both of them, I'm literally trying to press sweeping strikes, because I really want to get the double hamstring, pretty much. Double hamstring and double mortal strike on both of them. Which is really, really hard to get when you're not really paying attention there. And you're slow on it. So even just those small things can make a big difference to your efficiency. I charged the warrior here just to give my druid some space. And now we are in the perfect zone. This is like the dream state when both of them are on you. I see he uses power infusion. So this is the one time where I'm a little bit scared, because he has power infusion. We reflect the mind control. Really, really important to reflect that, because if you're CC, the druid has to cyclone you out, and that can be really difficult with a warrior on you. Here, they swap onto me, but to be honest, it looks like I'm in a lot of trouble, but I've got disarm and hot and like a couple hots on me. So realistically, they're not going to get too much damage out here. The warrior's using even more. He's got parry up. I parry now. Probably could have parried way earlier than that, and he parries back, which is probably good considering that he's pretty low in HP. This dome comes out, so even though he has parry for a couple more seconds, I stun the rest of the parry, so I still am able to get some hits out. It only reduces 30%, and the dome would reduce more. So I slow both, and you can sort of see I'm just kiting this guy to be on top of this priest. Like, I always want to pull these two guys on top of each other, because then they just fall apart, right? And then I can pretty much hit whoever I want at this point, and they just die. And switch into B stance, get the stun out, and then it's lights out. My healer is like, at one point their mana was pretty close. I think around. It was never that close. I think he got a bit of a drink or something off. Oh, I thought it was a lot closer than that, but the healer was around for a while. It was close to the start of the game at least. So I mean, hopefully these little guides are helpful. Let me see what MMR they were. I don't think they were super high, but you can sort of see like how you should be kind of, 2050. Not bad. But, if you look at the damage breakdown here, because you're playing with a druid, your damage is so high because of the cleave, and I'm able to do like 600k damage versus 344k. So what you want to try and do from like if you're trying to get the most out of these videos, is just see if you're doing the same thing. What are your like ways that you play around this? I'd really be interested to know, and looking forward to getting some input from you guys. Is this the content that you guys like? Because I'm definitely, I think right now with WoW, it's kind of hard to get some motivation to make these videos sometimes. So it is hugely appreciated if you can subscribe. Follow the Twitch. I am still going to stream when I can. The last, honestly, this is pretty boring stuff, but the last like 6 to 8 weeks for me have been insanely busy. Sort of since mid-March, the next 8 weeks from mid-March. I'm hoping that by the middle of May, we're going to get more of a schedule down. We're going to get a bit more time, but realistically I'm literally working till like 9 o'clock and then pretty much just having some dinner and then finishing some stuff off, doing some exercise and going to sleep. And if I stream alongside that, I have a feeling that it's either going to be sleep time, sleep quality, or like nutrition or exercise that I have to sacrifice for streaming. And I just don't think that's too sustainable in the long run. So we will pick that up. I'm not sure if I'll do the LFG challenge anymore, to be honest. I just don't have the time to do it. So we might close that one up, maybe close that one up at the duelist range. I will think about it in the future, but I do want to do some other things with that character. So maybe we'll see some other videos coming from there, whether it's meme videos, not meme videos, but kind of videos that are a bit more lighthearted in LFG, stuff like that. But regardless, if anyone's interested in coaching, we do have Patreon coaching as well, a couple slots available, and that means you get one-on-one time with me and I can review a gameplay. I can talk about your gear, win conditions, how to better coach your team, pretty much anything, right? Anything under the sun. If you're interested in any aspect of that, please let me know. Please sign up to the Patreon, and we publish sort of exclusive videos and guides there about 3 or 4 times a month, and we'll try and improve that as well. So again, I really appreciate all of you guys for watching it this long. I know that WoW content right now is on a bit of a downturn. So I appreciate all the fans that still stick around, and then any new ones. We will have some really cool stuff to talk about once TBC comes out and maybe 9.1. But for now, let's focus on the fundamentals. Let's improve our gameplay and see where we go. All right, boys, take it easy. Have a good one. Hope you enjoy these Arena 2v2 commentaries. Peace out.